Not with a victory, not with a surrender, but with the sky ablaze across an entire continent, with cities disappearing in an instant, and the world waking up to the fact that the war had given rise to a weapon powerful enough to destroy the very fabric of civilization. What if the end of World War II had been a nuclear holocaust? Let's analyze this step by step. First of all, we have to alter a pivotal moment in history. In the history we know, the United States developed the nuclear bomb before any other country through the Manhattan Project. What if something different had happened? What if the Nazi regime had developed the nuclear bomb before everyone else? By 1944, the German nuclear scientists have managed to develop a nuclear bomb. It's crude, unstable, but potent enough to change the course of history. Hitler now possesses the most destructive power ever created. Initially, nobody believed it. Rumors are circulating throughout Europe. Scientists are talking about a bomb that can destroy an entire city. Then, however, the demonstration occurs. A nuclear bomb is dropped on a Soviet military concentration near the Eastern Front. A blinding flash of light. A fireball, far larger than any bomb ever created. In an instant, tens of thousands of soldiers are eliminated. The shockwave travels for miles. The nuclear age has begun in the middle of World War II. Immediately, panic begins to set in among the Allies. The United States speeds up the Manhattan Project even further. Britain and Canada throw everything they have into nuclear research. The Soviet Union starts its own race against time to develop an atomic weapon. Suddenly, the war is not just about tanks, airplanes, and armies. It is now a matter of who will develop the next bomb first. Months later, the United States succeeds in testing its own nuclear weapon. But the world is now a different place. There are now two nuclear nations in the middle of a global conflict, and each side still believes they have a chance to win. Germany uses the nuclear weapon again. This time, the target is London. The city that had braved the Nazi Air Force for years now faces something much worse. One explosion, and the heart of the British Empire is gone. Millions of people panic in Europe. Governments start to evacuate major cities, but evacuation will not stop what is coming next. The United States strikes back. One of its nuclear bombs is dropped on Berlin. The explosion obliterates the heart of the Nazi Empire. But the conflict still will not end. Instead, the conflict will escalate. Germany strikes back again. One of its nuclear bombs is dropped on Moscow. The Soviet capital is now a ruins. Millions of people are killed in an instant. And now, three major powers have been attacked with nuclear weapons. And every government begins to fear the same thing: total annihilation. The arms race explodes. Factories stop producing conventional weapons. Instead, they focus on uranium enrichment, bomb design, and delivery systems. Bombers with nuclear capabilities become the most valuable aircraft on Earth. And soon, there are more nuclear bombs. 5, 10, 20, and cities become targets. Paris, Tokyo, Hamburg, Chicago, Osaka. And the people in those cities cease to exist in seconds. The war has become something the world has never seen before, a war against civilization itself. But nuclear weapons do not just destroy cities. They destroy ports. Railroads cease functioning. Factories stop working. Food supply chains collapse. Global famine starts spreading. And then something even worse starts happening. The environment begins to change. Every time a nuclear bomb is dropped, massive quantities of dust and smoke enter the atmosphere. Cities that have been set on fire produce enormous firestorms. Black clouds appear in the sky. Sunlight starts disappearing. Temperatures start falling. This would later be called nuclear winter. But no one understands what is happening during the war. Crops start failing all over the world. Winter starts getting colder. Summer starts getting shorter. Food shortages lead to global famine. Countries that had no part in the war start collapsing. South America, Africa, Australia, even neutral countries start feeling the consequences. Governments start falling. Refugee populations start exploding. Millions start migrating across continents in search of food. Meanwhile, the nuclear war is still raging. Military leaders think they have to strike first. Launch decisions start being made quicker and quicker. More bombs fall, more cities are destroyed. Finally, something frightening becomes obvious. There are no winners left. The industrialized nations who developed the bombs are gone. The governments who initiated the attacks are crumbling. Communications networks are shut down. Entire armies are unable to receive orders. The war gradually degenerates into chaos. People huddle in underground bunkers. Small communities try to raise crops in a dark world. Radiation-scarred lands cover much of Europe, Asia, and North America. The world's population declines dramatically. Instead of billions of people, there are now a small percentage of the original. Human civilization still exists, but just barely. Technology has collapsed. Global commerce no longer exists. Much of the scientific progress of the ages is lost. And a new generation grows up in a world where the ruins of the massive cities remind them of what used to be. The interesting thing is, this future almost happened. During the World War II conflict, the scientific community and the military understood the implications of nuclear weapons. They realized the potential of the technology to destroy civilizations. But only 2 bombs were used before the conflict ended. And so, after witnessing their power, the world stepped back from the edge. Which brings us to one final thought. World War II was already the deadliest war in history. But what if nuclear weapons had been unleashed earlier? It may not have been just countries that were destroyed. It may have been the modern world itself. And so, that we lived through that moment. Maybe one of the greatest accidents in history. For if the bombs had been falling everywhere in 1944, our world may look like nothing we can even imagine, or indeed may not even exist at all.